Hello everyone, Rabbit here for GameWatcher. Today I'm taking a look at Blood Bowl 2 from Cyanide. The sun on your face, the wind in your hair, and elven blood on your boots. The fantasy ultra-violent sport of Blood Bowl returns for a second helping. It is a digital interpretation of the Games Workshop board game that sees fantasy creatures such as elves, orcs and ogres go toe-to-toe in a game of fantasy American football. Both teams line up on opposite sides of the pitch and will punch, kick, stab, pass and run their way to as many touchdowns as possible. Whoever scores the most touchdowns wins. With it being a digital board game, that means there's a lot of rolling dice, and this is going to split a lot of you. Some of you will hate the fact that your best laid plans can come undone on the luck of a dice roll, while others will relish it and laugh at both your and your opponent's misfortune, and that really is the spirit of Blood Bowl. That and bribing the referee so you can get away with stamping on a goblin's throat. Matches are turn-based. You'll allocate actions to your players such as blocking opponents and attempting passes, etc. Attempting is the key word, as dice eye your adversary at every turn. It's all part of the humour and nature of the game though, and that's what makes Blood Bowl a hell of a lot of fun. But if you can't laugh when your star human catcher receives the ball, dodges his way through a troll's tackle zone only to slip on the edge of the end zone and break his neck, then maybe this isn't the game for you. The main strength of Blood Bowl is of course the playable races. Each race plays in a different way. The dwarfs, for example, are slow and immobile but so heavily armoured it's impossible to get them off the pitch. The Skaven are lightning fast and can dodge enemy attacks but are incredibly fragile. And then we have the orcs. And as we all know, orcs make the best Blood Bowl players. They offer a nice balance between speed and power, and once they've dismembered the opposition, they're not bad with the ball either. Can you tell I really like the orcs? There's just something really satisfying about securing the ball, forming a cage, and then carving a bloody path to the end zone. And then of course we have the posing high elves and their cowardly passing game, but the less said about those girls the better. When playing in league play, your players will earn experience from completing actions such as injuring opponents, completing passes, and scoring touchdowns. As your players level up, you can unlock new skills that help to mitigate the dice element in the game by essentially giving you rerolls for certain actions or giving you bonuses. It's incredibly satisfying watching your team grow from fresh meat for the grinder to hardened Blood Bowl stars. Conversely, it's also devastating when your star thrower suffers a horrific injury or even worse, dies on the field of play. Although to be fair, there is nothing funnier than murdering your opponent's best players. Yes, I am a bad person. One of the new additions to Blood Bowl 2 is a story-driven campaign mode, which is unfortunately dreadful. It is essentially a 10-hour tutorial, and aside from having a few amusing moments from the commentators, it won't provide you with a challenge or anything of value. In fact, I completed the campaign with only conceding a single touchdown. You can also form leagues and cup competitions with AI teams to play through, but the computer controlled teams will never give you as good a game as a human opponent, and multiplayer is where Blood Bowl shines the most. There are options to create a vast amount of leagues with your friends, or you can delve into any of the many public leagues and do battle with strangers. You will learn a lot more about the game and prioritising your turn order, team composition, etc. by playing against good human players than you ever will against the quite frankly awful AI. Cyanide have beefed up the visuals, and the player models are for the most part extremely well detailed and in keeping with the traditional look and feel of the Warhammer universe. New animations have been added, the UI has been neatened up considerably from previous versions. But the swanky new animations that the game is so keen to show off every time you make a block and the rewinding every time you use a reroll just slows the game down, and it plays at a relaxed pace as it is. There are also plenty of clipping issues too, especially with the Skaven attack animations. Bizarrely, lots of other touches and polish seems to be lacking here that were present in previous versions, such as all of the spectators being human and having the exact same face, and all of the cheerleaders are human now, no matter which teams are playing on the field. I mean, where are my orc drummers? One severe irritation is the formation setup before a match. You have the option to place your plays how you want and then save the formation for use in later games. The problem, however, is that this system is completely unfit for purpose. Players literally stroll one at a time to the position you select for them, making it painfully slow to tinker with your formations. And then when you load your save formations, all your players are in random positions, meaning you have to manually set it up all over again. How this got past QA testing, I'll never know. And now we come to the biggest bugbear I have with the game, and that is the amount of races available, 8 in total. Considering the previous version of Blood Bowl had around 23 playable races and catered for, well, pretty much everybody, including a mere 8 is a bit of a slap in the face for fans, particularly long-term fans of the board game. Some people have been playing as undead or wood elves or chaos dwarves literally for decades and will have to stump up for the base game and DLC to play their favourite teams. It does leave a nasty taste in the mouth, as the sheer volume of incredible fantasy races to play are what makes Blood Bowl so great, and sadly this smacks of greed rather than technical limitations. Blood Bowl 2 is a faithful recreation of the board game with improved visuals and a cleaner UI than previous installments. However, the AI is as poor as ever, but multiplayer is where Blood Bowl 2 shines. The inclusion of only 8 races is extremely disappointing though, as is the lack of overall polish the game has. If you already own Blood Bowl Chaos Edition, sadly Blood Bowl 2 doesn't really do enough to justify owning both, unless the multiplayer community decides to migrate. It's still quite a lot of fun though, especially in multiplayer. GameWatcher rating 6.5 out of 10, average. Thank you very much for watching, I've been Samurai Rabbit, and I'll see you next time.